Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 4. So Season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow ended over a month ago, maybe even bordering, I think it was just over a month ago, but I'm sure we are all still heavily and emotionally affected by the rise of Bebo to overcome the demon known as Malice. Legends is one of those shows that just gets better with age, which is, well, against the usual run of a TV show. Usually the longer a TV show goes, the worse off they get. But Legends of Tomorrow is definitely proving that stigma wrong. But when we left Legends at the end of Season 3, we had the Legends, after defeating the demon Malice, relaxing in Aruba, which is of course Mick Rory's favourite place to go, sipping some cocktails as you do, when all of a sudden, our good old mate John Constantine, and of course his handy disciple known as Gary, showed up along with a dragon head and alerted the Legends that letting Malice escape, might I say, wasn't just a doorway for him to escape, but many other things, shall we say. And Constantine didn't seem all that pleased. Obviously many of us, if not everyone that watches Legends, was wondering where this was all leading to. Well, over the past week we had the CW upfronts take place, where they revealed various little nuggets of information for the upcoming seasons of television, the various shows and stuff. Obviously we will get more stuff at Comic-Con in July, but what Legends supplied for us to hang on to leading up to Comic-Con was pretty good. And what they supplied us with was the synopsis or description for Season 4, and it actually reveals a decent amount for us to speculate over. So let's actually go over that. Before that, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below throughout this video your various opinions, because there's going to be a decent amount of things I do bring up, and I really do want to get your guys' opinions on all of them in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome to drop a like if you're going to enjoy the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. After defeating the demon Malice by cuddling him to death with a giant stuffed animal named Bebo, the Legends are ready to ease off the gas. Sarah and her team join Ava Sharp in the Time Bureau to help clean up the last few remaining anachronisms. The job seems straightforward enough until Constantine arrives to inform them that, in solving one major problem, they have created another, much larger one. When the Legends let time crumble in order to release and defeat Malice, the barrier between worlds softened. History is now infected with fugitives, magical creatures from myths, fairy tales, and legends. Having been expelled throughout time by people like Constantine, these fugitives are now returning to our world in droves and making a real mess of things. As the Time Bureau is distrustful and ill-equipped to deal with magic, the Legends must team up with everyone's favourite demonologist to set history back on track. Sarah and Constantine are joined by compassionate inventor Ray Palmer, hot-headed ex-con Mick Rory, rebellious totem bearer Zari, and heartbroken historian turned superhero Nate, as they set out to save the world and their legacy. It's the familiar fun of the Legends time travelling across historical events and encountering famous figures with an added shot of magical craziness. So, wow, let's just jump straight into it. These fugitives. It's a good change of name from what we're used to. It's something fairly easy to say and for people to understand, fugitive, like outlaw and stuff like that. Not like the aberrations from Season 2 and the anachronisms from Season 3. But as that synopsis does say, these fugitives are from other worlds and include various magical creatures from myths, fairy tales, and legends, and this could also include different areas from those myths, fairy tales, and legends as well. But what should we expect to see in Season 4? What bunch of myths, fairy tales, and legends could we see, well, our Legends come across and face? Well, I have some personal ones that I wouldn't mind seeing the show take on, and what I would want to see the Legends interact with, if not themselves, or put themselves in these stories. In regards to myths, a few that the Legends could take on could be vampires. Now, there are a few vampire characters in DC Comics, one of which is actually Crucifer that we did see this season on The Flash. However, on Legends, I would just have them be random vampires. I guess you could maybe chuck in Dracula in there if you wanted to, but that is up for the show to decide if they want to do that. But, just normal vampires would be fine. Another myth that would be pretty cool to see show up would be dragons. We saw, Constantine drop a dragon's head in front of the Legends at the end of Season 3. So due to this, you would have to think we could see them again. Or maybe this is them, doing their dragon portion of the season and, proving that dragons were there or something. I don't know, personally I would like to see some more dragons, but it might be a bit too much for the budget due to CGI, but you never know, they could surprise us. And the last myth, I guess this is also a legend as well, but I'm going to put it under myth, is Atlantis. This would be a pretty cool one for the Legends to take a trip to, Atlantis, maybe before it sunk, back in time, or maybe they could just go to it while it's in the ocean, either way. It would be cool to go there, and you might be thinking to yourself, Pagey, they can't go there because of the DCU and all that and all the contract issues. while I understand what some of you might be thinking in regards to that, as long as they don't bring in Aquaman, then they should be fine. They could even use Queen Atlanta, Aquaman's mother, if they wanted to, which would be pretty cool. But I think if they were going to go to Atlantis, they might go to Atlantis before it's sunk. Because, well, I just think that would be easier to do. Now, in regards to some legends that they could do on, well, Legends, this is where the show could have a decent amount of fun. So the first one I think that they should definitely go with is Robin Hood. Now, Robin Hood is one of the most famous characters and legends of all time. Though his existence is not clearly verified. There's some people that he is real, and it's just unproven whether he's real or not. He was believed to be around the medieval times. So the story of Robin Hood, I'm sure most of you know it. He was a thief who fought against injustice and by stealing from the rich and giving the money to the poor. Now, legend has it is that he had a group of men working for him who he called his merry men. So that'd be pretty cool if they showed up along with him. And one thing that I think would be pretty awesome if they did, it would be maybe hard to get done. It might be a bit too meta, just because the character is very similar to this legend. But it would be amazing if they had Stephen Amell play Robin Hood. So Stephen Amell obviously plays Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow on Arrow. But tell me, it would be awesome if we had Stephen Amell playing Robin Hood on Legends. I think that'd be really cool. The next legend is El Dorado. So the legend of El Dorado pertains to a lost city of gold believed to exist somewhere in South America, not confirmed where it is. I think they say very close to Colombia. I think that's where a lot of people think it actually was. So it is yet to be found, but that hasn't stopped historians and various treasure hunters from searching for it. Now, since the legend began in the 1500s, thousands of people have attempted to locate the City of Gold in various locations throughout Latin America, and as I said, Colombia is believed to be one of the places where it could have been. That's one of the highly theorized places. So the story of El Dorado revolves around a chief who lived in a secret kingdom behind these waterfalls of the Amazon River. It is said that the chief of the tribe would cover himself with gold dust, which was, well, for a city of gold, it was everywhere, and then he would jump into the pure water. So legend has it is that the story was brought into the world by Spanish wanderers who discovered the kingdom. So in various forms of media and stuff where they do El Dorado, usually it's, Spanish people going into it. And the last legend is that of Bloody Mary. And of course, this would be specifically for the Halloween episode of Legends that we tend to get. And I think it would be, just amazing. Now, Bloody Mary is one of the most popular ghosts and ghost stories in the world. But who was she really? Now, no one actually knows that. There are hundreds of legends about this famous character. Some say that she was a widow who killed her children, while some say she was a young child who got killed and is wandering around her grave. The most common theory and legend about Bloody Mary tells that if a person, after midnight, says Bloody Mary 3 times in front of their mirror, Mary's ghost will appear and kill that person. And some legends also portray her as a good ghost, but mostly she is an evil spirit. I'm sure many of you have seen different movies, TV shows, or even in real life heard the Bloody Mary legend and saying that in front of the mirror. Don't do it, because I don't want to be responsible for any deaths. So don't do that, please. And another legend that has already appeared on the show is that of Camelot and King Arthur. We could revisit that in this season, but they've already sort of done that on the show. But if they revisit that, then it would fit in with all this, because King Arthur and Camelot is a legend. And then finally, onto those fairy tales. Now, this is probably the one that's going to have the most fun with on Legends, because they could just go with heaps of different things. But what could the legends use? Well, here are some of my options. The first one, Jack and the Beanstalk, just because it's a giant goose egg as well, golden goose egg. This would be incredible to see on Legends and just crazy at the same time. Who knows what they would, change up with the story to involve the legends and stuff. But, Jack and the Beanstalk plants a little seed, grows into a beanstalk, climbs the beanstalk, giant golden egg, as I said, run away, all that good stuff. So yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk would be a pretty cool one. Little Red Riding Hood sounds like the most strange one to put in here, but I think it would be really cool. Just a giant wolf that's eaten the grandma, pretending to be the grandma. I don't think they probably wouldn't. It's the CW, so they probably cast an early 20s, very attractive woman in a red hood. But yeah, Little Red Riding Hood would be pretty cool to see, I guess. And the last one, Hansel and Gretel, because, I just think Hansel and Gretel would be cool, because I think what they could do with these stories is that all these fairy tales have a goal for the main character. So look, I can't remember what Little Red Riding Hood, I think she gets saved by the lumberjack, is that it? Anyway, something like that. So Hansel and Gretel, going to their whatever it is, Jack and the Beanstalk trying to get the golden egg. So all these fairy tales sort of have a main goal for the character. So they could implement each of them into these episodes of Legends. So maybe the Legends are trying to help these characters, if that makes sense. That's what I would like to see with some episodes, just because I think it's a bit strange and something different, but something really awesome at the same time. So that's why I've sort of picked these fairy tales in particular. They could do something with like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves if they wanted to. I guess maybe some Disney stuff might get in the way. I don't know if Disney owns the rights to some of these fairy tales. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. A notable mention that I do want to chuck into the fairy tale section is Puss in Boots, just because it's a cat with boots. Anyway, let's just move on. I think it'll be really funny to see on Legends. Now, this is the bigger part in regards to this like main plot thing from the synopsis, and that is in regards to the villain for the season. Now, I could really only think of one character that I would like to see that would like match up with what the season is going for, and also it would like diversify the big bad from what we've seen previously on the show, and that is having the Queen of Fables as the villain. Now, the Queen of Fables is a magic wielding villain and mainly an enemy to the JLA, or the Justice League. Originally, she was a sorceress from another dimension until she was exiled to our world and then trapped within the Book of Fables. While she was in this Book of Fables, she gained a fairly new ability, and that was to allow her to bring any work of fiction to life. So in one story, the Justice League discovered that generic evil queen that was usually seen depicted in most stories and most fairy tales is in fact a real and a powerful entity, the Queen of Fables, who was trapped in another dimension. Now, once she was freed, the Queen of Fables sees Wonder Woman, yes, Wonder Woman, as a version of Snow White and seeks to destroy her. In DC Rebirth, Queen of Fables shows up again, similar backstory and everything like that. This time around though, she discovered a means of entering mortal dreams. So she would grant a dreamer one wish in exchange for testimony to her might. Each wish, once granted, provided the Queen of Fables with a foothold in the mortal plane, so our existence, and served as a part of a greater ritual to summon her back to the physical world. And that is what I could see Legends of Tomorrow doing in Season 4. This sounds like a villain that would line up exactly with what they are going for. They could make it that these myths, legends, and fairy tales are breaking through to our world, doing work for her, but she is still trapped in this other world or realm. Who knows who trapped her there? It could have been Constantine, who knows? But they are slowly making a path for her to re-emerge to our world, the mortal world. So it's almost similar to Malice, but just to a greater extent, because we're going to have all these different myths, legends, and fairy tales entering our world to make a path for her. And there could be like evil characters from these different myths, legends, and fairy tales, while maybe the good characters, so for example, the big bad wolf, could be on the Queen of Fables side, and then we could have the three little pigs on our side. Maybe not. That's not what we're going to get exactly, but a similar thing like that. So the villain from the fairy tales, myths, and legends, with the heroes or good guys from those particular properties on our side. Hopefully you know what I'm getting at. Now, that wasn't the only thing that was shown at CW upfronts in regards to Legends. They also showed this new poster or key art, whatever you want to call it. Now, this new poster shows Ray Palmer, Amaya, Constantine, Nate, Zari, Mick, and Sarah Lance. Now, this poster is fairly simple, but hype at the exact same time. But it does have one notable omission from it, that people were like, what the hell is going on here? Where's Wally? And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. However, if Wally were to be leaving Legends and going back to the Flash, they would have done that at the end of Legends. They would have said, "Hi guys, I'm going." They would have done that. So what I think this poster is going for is just to highlight some other members, seeing that Wally is already a big character on the show, even though he has, only been there for half a season. Amaya is obviously on there as well, but it was accidentally revealed by Katie Lotz, who plays Sarah Lance, that Maisie Richardson Sellers, who plays Amaya, will actually be playing a new character this season, not Amaya from last season. Who she is playing is another question entirely. It will be interesting to see if it is someone from that other realm. Maybe she is playing Little Red Riding Hood or something, and she joins the Legends for the season. Crazy, I know, but that would be totally Legends. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what I went over in this video. Do you think Queen of Fables is going to be the villain? What other myths, legends, and fairy tales would you like to see play out in Season 4 of Legends? Just crazy that we're even saying that, but yeah, just leave all of your opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.